So guys, we're down here in beautiful Florida. It's another day here at the shop. Obviously, we're hanging out, we're doing some work, we're doing some stuff, and I really don't have a video planned for today. I don't have very much to do on any of my cars because I have already put in all the parts. But the thing I can do today for you guys is I can do the fuel pump on the 180. I just remembered I have that, so I think that's what I'll do. I'll do a small little video on that, couple clips, and then we'll move on to something else. But really, like, the biggest thing that was going on with this thing was that somehow water got inside of this thing and it got into the trunk, and then rust started to form. So I didn't like that, so I took the interior of the trunk back out and cleaned it all up, made it look nice again. I actually just let it dry. I just remember that I got to check it and see what's going on in there. But that's just going on with that thing. The BMW is still doing BMW things, and I have to get the computer for the G37, and I think I actually gave the scooter rod knock because it doesn't really run that right anymore. But we're gonna keep going on all this stuff. I think I'm actually gonna buy a gasket kit for the scooter and see what I could do with that thing, but that's what's gonna go on with that. But before we do anything else, let's go ahead and throw this fuel pump in really quick and get straight to that part. So guys, first thing you do is you take out all your carpet and stuff like that, but I already have this one out because I was doing that little rust thing. Like I said, it's starting to rust in here, a little bit right there, around there where the spare tire goes, but we're gonna fix that. I actually have this drain plug completely out and the drain plug that's over there completely out. So I'm just gonna actually leave those out so that if more water actually gets in here somehow, it won't pool up in here and stay in here. It will actually just drain right out. But onto the fuel pump. So guys, first step is you take off these 410s right here. And we are going to do just the basic setup on this. We're going to do a single pump. We're not going to do the dual pump setup. So there is no complicated wiring that you have to do for this. You don't have to, You don't have to basically wire in a second pump and go from the battery to the pump. All you have to do is you just have to constantly ground this one so that it stays running all the time. So we're going to take these off, and then we're going to take this cap off. So now you can see that the pump is actually in here. You're going to take these two off, all the little like 8mm bolts, or you can use a screwdriver, and then the whole pump will come out. So we're going to do that, and we'll be right back. So there we go. In about 3 minutes, I just had the fuel pump out and ready to go. There is not that much gas in here. Now that looking at this tank is actually a good tank. Usually these tanks actually get really, really rusty over time. And as you can tell by just like peering into there isn't a lot of rust, if any rust. And it looks like they probably have done this tank once in Japan, so that's good. Now that the fuel pump is out though, it's a very simple process. You go through and you cut the power and the ground to these. You disconnect the fuel line right here, and you put on the new pump. There is actually, I believe, 2 10s or a couple of screws on the bottom, and you reuse this filter sock. So we're gonna go ahead and splice the two power and grounds back in, put the new pump on here, wires tie it to here so that it stays in place, because it does not use this stock mounting point anymore, so you're going to get rid of all this stuff and these. So let's go ahead and keep doing all this stuff. So guys, in about like 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes like for this? 15 minutes, 20 minutes, yeah. For this thing, I got it all back together, did it, wired everything up, put the line on it, put the new sock, put the sock back on it and everything. And then we got a couple of the old parts right here. We got this, the little boot, some wire that I didn't use, and that. So I ran the constant ground. We're going to ground this inside the car. We're going to do this on a nice ground that's really close to it. And now we have to just get this back into the car and make sure that it primes and runs still. So let's go ahead and plop this back in and go from there. So guys, that took all of like a couple minutes just to put it back in. I had to do a little modification on the seal. Hopefully it works. I had to actually cut it and put some RTV in between so that it worked. But we got it in there. I'll eventually get a new seal for it, but for right now that'll just work. And I got the grounding system right here, like I said. Just got it to a nice body ground. And I retaped it all back up so that the wires aren't showing or anything. And now we can go ahead and take her for a test drive. I'm actually gonna put the whole trunk back together before I do this, and then you take her for a test drive and see what happens. Probably nothing else. Having turned out the boost, haven't done anything, but it's cool to have a big fuel pump in there now. Okay guys, so just adding that little fuel pump actually helped out a lot. I mean, the car feels a lot faster to me now. It really does. Because before, I used to not be able to like spin. I used to not be able to like do very much. The car used to have a shit ton of lag and whatnot, but putting all the stuff that I put into it so far actually woke the car out, gave it a lot better feel, helps it out a lot, and just makes everything just run a lot better. So what I've done so far was I put a full exhaust on it. It's got a down pipe, it's got a straight pipe all the way back. This blast pipes out the back. It's got a big front mount intercooler in it now. Instead of having the like front mount that's kind of small, it has the full big one from top to bottom. Goes the whole length of it. It's really awesome. It's got full intercooler piping with only 4 couplers, which is awesome. I like to keep my possibility of having boost leaks very low. So there's only 4 couplers, only 4 places that this thing could leak from. And I just put in a fuel pump. I did the oil filter relocation kit. I put the short throw shifter in it, and that's about it for right now. But, oh yeah, I put the radiator, the overflow tank, and an electric fan on it. But I really don't drive the car far enough for the electric fan to do very much, because I just like get it warm, do a couple laps around here, and then just park it again. So it's not really being used all that much. But I have to still get the intake manifold with the bigger throttle body and the fuel rail. After I get that stuff, that will be all put in. I will do a wire tuck on that side of the motor. Then I have to get the top mount manifold with the turbo. That needs to go in. And then we have to just go back through, clean everything up. I need to get the catch cam put in. I need to do a bunch of other stuff. I need to order more Dash 10 fittings and some lines so that I can continue to do this stuff. But yeah, the car feels a lot better. The fuel pump helps it because it's actually sending all the fuel to the fuel rail. It's not going to starve anymore, and it's being constantly ran. So that's what's going on with that. We'll be right back, though. I'm going to go get some food with Jeff and his girlfriend, and then we'll see what else we can get into for the night. I'll probably end this video pretty shortly, and I did all the cool stuff at the beginning for you guys, so I hope you guys like that. We'll be right back. Recap on what I did today. I know I've already been talking a lot about stuff today, but we put these awesome Tomei cams in this RB26. They were kind of a pain. Never done cams before, but that was okay to do. We also put head studs in this car. That was a pain. That took absolutely forever. You have to go through, make sure that all the oil is out of every cylinder, that they are completely bone dry, and then you got to put the studs in. Then you put the nuts on, then you got to torque them 3 different times, then you do a final torque, and then a bunch of stuff, and it's just a pain. So all of that got done this week, / weekend, and the next things that are coming up on this thing are we are going to be doing a new fuel system. He has half of the fuel system ran. He just didn't have it in the proper spot where he wants it, so we're going to move it around for him, put it in a good spot. We're going to do this oil filter relocation kit over again, move it up to its proper spot, and we are going to go ahead and go onto this side and do all the drains, the oil drain, the oil feed, the coolant feed, the coolant drain, and do all of that. We also have to put the valve covers back on. We have to put the new cam gears that we're getting on. Make sure the motor is timed again, put a new timing belt on it, and just put this thing back together-ish now. And then that's basically all we're doing with this thing. This thing is still going to be a little while. We're going to do final tweaks and whatnot on that. And then over here on this 370Z, which is still here in the shop, taking forever. I got the turbo almost onto it. The turbo has to be clocked and moved around a little bit. I got to get one of the bolts to fit on it the proper way. And then this thing will be going back into this car finally, and then we can get this thing back to running good. We're going to turn the boost down on this thing. It's only be running about 500 horsepower now, but that's still quite a bit for this car from the factory, so we're going to do that. And then, like I said before, I'm just going to keep chugging away at the stuff that I got for my cars. I got more stuff on a Beamer, more stuff on a 180. Got to get the computer for the G37. Got to get the computer for the G37, and then we could just move on to other stuff. Pico wants a lot done on his car, so what I think I'm going to do is, while the G37 is running and driving, I'm going to let Pico drive that while I do Pico's car. So guys, everybody was being very loud out there, so I decided to stop the video really quick and just end it right now. But if you guys like the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share, do all the good stuff, and I hope to see you guys in the next one later on. Peace.